Hi guys, as usual, before we will begin, all the necessary links in the video description and my test system setup details for that guy also in the video description. Now, not so long ago, I've told you that I will get back to cheaper gear reviews, as there may be some value gems hiding, and all in all, these are the real entry to good sound for most of the people on the budget. So this is Accuphase C3850 clone. Is an obvious choice with $155 price tag and over 150 positive reviews on Aliexpress. It's so small and cheap that I got free Aliexpress shipping for it. Yes, and it's quite lightweight, it's quite small, so yes, it was qualifying for the fast and still free shipping to Europe. Now I have already reviewed one preamp based on C3850 that was called C2860 plus, and it landed in my top 3 recommended preamplifiers list. You may recall that was the big guy, the big golden guy, with excellent functionality, balanced inputs, balanced outputs, and with most importantly, excellent sound quality. It still is one of my top 3 recommendations, and you can find it in my recommended gear lists that I'm updating every time I see there will be some kind of AliExpress sale coming. So I don't expect this guy to crash the list at the top spot, but for the money that could be an excellent entry-level preamplifier if it does sound good. So this is not a copy, it's a clone that is reworked, redesigned for do-it-yourself purposes construction that is based on Accuphase C3850 that is, and please fasten your seatbelts, available for $36,000. This one is another, and bear with me, ASYPDZSW build. Try to say the name of the company very fast. We won't talk any numbers here because there is no numbers given by the manufacturer, no specification other than dimensions and weight. Weight is 3.3 kilograms and the dimensions are 28 centimeters wide, 6.2 centimeters tall, and 21 centimeters deep. Now let's talk about the build and let's look at the guy. And in the front we have a power switch, we have a set of 3 LED diodes that will be giving us information about the selected input. We have volume control knob and we have input selector here. What I have noticed and I don't really like about that particular build, and that's basically a very simple thing to fix, is that they've mounted the knobs with the screws facing upwards. The usable volume limit is somewhere around here, so still the screw is visible from the sides, and I will rotate the knob and I will mount it so the screw will be on the bottom. And the same goes for the input selector knob, because basically it looks like the guy who was putting this together decided to use the screw as an indicator of sorts. So it's clearly visible at all times at the top. It should be at the bottom. But all in all, the front plate is made with brushed aluminum and it looks really nice, especially for something so small and cheap. I don't know if you can see that, but the thickness of the front panel, it's actually thicker than in many of the full-sized clones. It's something like 7 millimeters, 8 millimeters thick. Now, these are looking nice, but they are not exactly heatsink radiator or something like that. And in the back we have power socket with integrated fuse compartment, and you can see that I got 230 volts version We have made in China logo, and it still makes me laugh every time I see that, because guys, please do not make this here right next to this one, because that's not true, and not for something like 15 or 12, 20 years now. Okay, so we have 3 sets of inputs, LCA inputs with gold-plated sockets. They are numbered 1, 2, and 3, and these numbers correspond to the numbers on the front plate with LED information dials. And we have 1 set of LCA outputs. There is no power cable in the box, but then again, it's a standard IEC cable that I'm sure you all have tons of lying around back in your house. Now, let's take a look inside. As you can see, I'm not using the rotating stand today, because this guy is so small that it's actually larger than the stand, and it was looking silly. Yeah, something like 3, maybe 4 millimeters thick, so it's very solid. And let's take a look inside. And let me take my pointer. Okay, so we can see our core transformer as a main power source. We can see that internally we are able to choose the voltage, so even if you order 250 volts version, you will be able to switch that to 115 volts using this switch internally. This APCO transformer is outputting 50 watts, and this guy has 2 windings. One of them is used for powering the amplifier, that's this one, and the second one, secondary 12 volts, is used for powering the input selector board that you'll see in a minute. I'm mentioning this because this 12 volts output is quite important. Why? Because as you can see, we have ALPS volume control here, but this guy doesn't come with any kind of remote. So if you would like to have a remote here, it's very easy to order a do-it-yourself kit with the volume control and a remote sensor and small logic board and actual remote. I think that's like $20 or something like that, and it's fairly easy to replace that one with motorized one, because there is just a couple of things you need to do. You need to replace this board with a motorized one. You need to desolder and solder the connectors to the new board, and these remote control boards are usually powered by 12 volts, so you can easily take the 12 volts for controlling the volume pot from those green wires that are also controlling the power source, the power delivery for the for the input selector board. And the only thing that you would need to do more is to drill a hole in the front plate, or maybe just place an IR sensor somewhere under the preamplifier. But what I would do, I would just drill another hole in the front, because the front is covered with this self-adhesive plastic here. So I would just remove that using some isopropyl alcohol in order not to damage it. Then I would drill a hole through the aluminum front panel somewhere over here, and this way I would add remote control to this preamplifier. Now you can see the input selector board. It's using relays. It's controlled by this rotary switch over here, and it's using 12 volts power supply from the ARCO transformer. The actual chosen input is routed through here to the volume control, and then from the volume control to the board of the preamplifier here. Let's have it like that. Let's take a look inside. Yeah. So what else can we see here? These guys are Elna Silmic capacitors. These are Nichicon Gold capacitors. These ones are also Nichicons. Each one of them is rated for 3,300 microfarads. So we have 6,600 microfarads per channel. These guys are Aishu, I don't know the brand, capacitors. And the small guys here, give me a second, I forgot about them, just a second. So I'm not 100% sure because it's not very clearly visible, but these may be Panasonic capacitors. But I may be wrong here, it's not very clear because they are very small. Now, the red ones this time are not German VIMA capacitors, but if you prefer VIMA, you can also replace them. And you can see the nice symmetry for the above channel of the preamplifier on the board. If you've seen other C3850 based preamplifiers, you will recognize the similar layout. They are all very similar. Now, this one uses integrated operational amplifiers here. These are single channel NE5554 operational amplifiers, and I've been testing the preamplifier with those guys as I wanted to get a hold on the stock signature for the preamplifier. But then I was replacing those guys with single OPA 828 and with new Acliam AK06 single discrete class A operational amplifiers that I will show you in a second. And I think that's all about the build internally. Yeah, interestingly, those guys are described on the board as Elna, meaning that for some reason they should be Elna caps, and that was important for the design. You have a name for the manufacturer. I like those guys build. They all sound very well, very good. And we have a model number here, and we have a funny typo because this is single-ended preamplifier. So like a separate word. Yeah, give me a second, I will show you the preamplifiers and we will move to the sound qualities. So these are the guys I was talking about, and I got them specifically for this preamplifier. They are horizontal class A discrete operational amplifiers made by Acliam AK06, and if you take a look, these caps and these transistors are getting in the way. So I was using this provided DIP8 sockets to lift the actual operational amplifier up and give it some spacing over the capacitors like that. And right now, if I would replace this NE5554, that would be, as you can see easily lifted above the capacitors nearby. What's important is the actual way that the operational amplifier should be inserted in the board. You can see that pin number 1 is facing the front plate. Also the marking on the PCB, the small curvature over there, shows that. And this guy has this marked on the bottom. So you can see that this side with the curvature should be facing the front of the preamplifier. And that's basically it. Obviously, the discrete class A operational amplifiers were better than 5554, but I will talk about that later. For the purpose of the test, I wanted to leave it in the stock configuration because that's the way you'll be receiving one if you'll decide to buy one. Okay, so one important thing that may be meaningful to you. I got the silver version, but there's also one that's completely black. available. So that may be important if you have your power amplifier also in black, like for example name NAP 200 clone that I've reviewed about a week or 2 weeks ago. Now let's talk about the sound. So maybe let's take a look at this guy like that. It will be looking better. And maybe you'll be able to see something interesting inside that I haven't mentioned. And now the bass. The bass goes deep. The extension is good and it's nicely organic, slightly warm. Works wonders for D-class power amplifiers as it has very full and rich mid-bass. Low piano notes have depth and nice power. The same thing happens with bass guitars. Mid-bass is full, but it's kept in check and it doesn't bleed into the mid-range. Now, the mid-range. The mid-range is soft and natural. Vocals have very good timbre and surprising amount of detail, even with stock 5553 operational amplifiers. As it was with C3850-S, the one I recommended, I really liked all the strings instruments as they sound in a very sweet way. What's important is that there is no sibilance. Vocals are smooth and relaxing. The sweetness reminds me of tube amplifiers, although this is not exactly a tube sound. This is Class A sound, so you're getting all the details, all the resolution, but at the same smoothness. And as I've said, string instruments are sweet like guitars. Now moving on to treble. Treble has a very good extension and it's surprisingly airy for the price. It gets even better with better operational amplifiers, so there is definitely some room for improvement. Again, no sibilance. Treble is smooth like with tube preamplifiers. Replacing operational amplifiers gets us more clarity and detail in treble. As I've told you, I was doing tests with those guys and I was also testing OPA 828 and basically everything is better than 5552. Even if it does sound good in the stock configuration, my first recommendation would be to immediately replace the operational amplifiers because this is an instant level up for this preamplifier. Now, detail. I have to admit that I'm not a fan of 5552, that's double version, or its single sibling 5554 that we have here. But I have to admit that this particular preamplifier has a very good resolution even with 5552. And that just gets better with better operational amplifiers. I really didn't expect so much detail, especially in this price range at all. I've read those positive comments on Aliexpress, I read those positive reviews, so I was expecting some good things, but I had no idea that the resolution of this preamplifier will actually be that good. Now, moving on to imaging. This little guy has very good imaging. Soundstage is very wide with very precise center image. It's not expensive, and yet it can properly convey depth information. You can hear things happening closer to you and those in the back. The images are not super precise. Larger C3860 is way better here, but there is a space between instruments and they do not overlap. Meaning that in this particular case, for example, if you would be listening to, I don't know, trumpet and a guitar, you would be able to point the position of each instrument, but if you'd be trying to find the borders and the definition of the instruments, you would realize that you're not able to precisely tell when where the instrument is beginning and where it's ending. So the images are not very precise when it comes to the size, but they do not overlap. And I had a couple of situations in the gear that I've reviewed when the images were actually overlapping. So for my test scenario, the trumpet would be less trumpet, less trumpet, less trumpet, something like mix of those two, and then guitar and more guitar. Now with this guy, although the positions are precise, the borders of the instruments are not so precise, and yet still there is an air and space between instruments. So it works perfectly fine, and it's a very good match for all the D-class amplifiers that I've tested this preamp so far with. Now, getting to the summary of the review. So, the Aliexpress reviews were right. For the price, it's really good. And it gets better with OPA 828 or Acliam AK06 horizontal operational amplifiers that are fully in Class A. Remember, these are single Opamps. That's very important because single Opamps are not pin-to-pin compatible with dual channel Opamps. So you cannot just randomly replace them, hoping that you'll place a dual Opamp and only one of them internally will be used. If you want to replace them, you need to replace them with single Opamps only, meaning that this is the perfect candidate and OPA 828, but the one that's on the Deep 8 adapter, the single Deep 8 adapter, is the perfect choice here. So, there is one thing that I have to warn you about though. This preamplifier is really sensitive to EMI. I'm using Ethernet power adapters and I had to shut down all my network to get clean background without any characteristic transmission noises. These are actually sounding like in the modems that were negotiating the connection back in the day. But I had to shut down completely my network segment that was going over my power line, and that was even with my EMI filters in place. So that shouldn't be a common problem because running your Ethernet over the power line is not very popular, especially amongst audiophiles, basically us guys. But please do remember about that. It's small, it's cheap, it sounds great, and my only gripe here is that there is no remote. Adding one using do-it-yourself kit from Aliexpress is doable, as I've told you, but I would prefer to have it already here, even if that would raise the price, I don't know, by 10, 15, maybe $12. All in all, this is an excellent little preamplifier that will not ruin your budget, and I would highly recommend getting one if you're using D-Class TPA 5255 based power amplifiers, as this will be an instant upgrade for your system. And yes, I really like this guy, and getting back to the smaller devices, I will try to find a perfect small power amplifier match. Yes, D-Class amplifiers are one choice, but I will also look for small amplifier clones like that. Again, all necessary links and test system setup details in the video description. I hope you liked this video, and if it helped you in any way, you're more than welcome to get me a beer using PayPal link below, or YouTube super thanks, that's also below the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. If you have any questions, give me a shout in the comments. If there will be anything that would be needed to add to the video description, then I will place it there. And that's it. I'm trying to answer all my comments, maybe not exactly on the daily basis because of my day job, but I'm really trying to do that every second or every third day. So do not get worried if I won't answer you straight away. Yeah. Thank you and have a great day. Bye, guys.